with. So I want to welcome everyone that is here. Please post your questions on the chat, and we're going to have Latino Outdoors joining us so that we can learn more about them and that you can have practical ways to celebrate Earth Month. And again, you guys know my rant about Earth Month instead of Earth Day. So we are doing it. So please let me know where you're tuning in from. I see some folks here on Instagram, and I see some other folks on Facebook watching and also on YouTube. So feel free to post in the comments. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's finally not raining in LA, so I think that's awesome.
We needed the rain. We needed the rain.
We definitely needed the rain. Okay, let me lower my volume here. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. But all right, so it's Earth Month. Yeah, finally. What are you? What? Tell us a little bit about you and Latino Outdoors, and let us know, what is your guys' vibe. And later we talk more about Earth Month. But for now, let us share with us a little bit about who you guys are.
Okay, perfect. So my name's Christian Lamont. Pronouns are he and him. I'm here in Los Angeles with you. And Latino Outdoors is a national organization, and we are growing. I just wanted to shout out that we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year. Yay, I know. And that's amazing, because 10 years ago, this space, this the environmental and conservation movement was not as colorful and not as diverse as it used to be. And so 10 years ago, it was our founder, Jose Gonzalez, and a handful of other people like Outdoor Afro and a few others that were really, really trying new things and being loud and being proud. And there were not that many voices like theirs that were being listened to. I am happy to say that 10 years later, there are so many organizations, so many clubs, so many individuals, so many influencers, so many advocates, so many leaders that are changing the world, that are part of this larger movement. So it's not just Latino Outdoors, it's this whole movement that we're so grateful to be a part of. And so what is Latino Outdoors? Now that I've talked about it and we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, Latino Outdoors, we've got regions all over the country. We've got Arkansas. We just opened one in Miami. We've got Salt Lake City. We've got Denver.
I didn't know you could hike in Miami, but that's cool.
You can hike. You can hike wherever. That's the important part.
Right.
And then, so we have three major programs. We have Vamos Outdoors, which is literally, let's get outside. Go outside. Let's take families. Let's take each other outdoors. Let's get onto the hiking trails, whether that's a beautiful big mountain or whether that's enjoying an urban park here in Los Angeles or in the city. Then we have Yo Cuento Outdoors. That is Yo Cuento. I have a story to tell. I matter. I count. And that is our storytelling, because part of this is we do this work, but the other part is sharing this work, sharing your stories, telling other people what we're about, and then telling other people what you're about. And then the last one is Crecemos Outdoors, and that is fostering development, workforce development, making the world so that the next generation of outdoor leaders have job opportunities, they have training, they have CPR and first aid, mountain rescue training, they have leadership and advocacy training. So it's Vamos Outdoors, Yo Cuento, y Crecemos Outdoors. And that's Latino Outdoors, and we're so happy to be celebrating Earth Month, Earth Day, Earth Week, Earth everything with you.
Absolutely. And it's been, I know also Jose, since he was starting Latino Outdoor, and it's so important for us to have this space because, traditionally there is this being, depending where you're from or where you come from, for some of us, nature is kind of part of our family. I always talk about that, in the pandemic, nature kept me sane. kept me alive, kept me, going. And I was able to tap into a part of myself that was kind of very dormant and sad, and was really hungry for like adventure and for nature. So yeah, being outdoors is like super important. But traditionally, being outdoors for a lot of people of color has been somewhat dangerous. It hasn't been for us, right? So for example, in Colombia, where I'm from, some of the places that are the most desirable to go backpacking or go in senderismo, like hiking, you couldn't go when I at some period of my me growing up there because it was dangerous. And there's a lot of people of color now here in the United States that live in urban settings that don't have the luxury to go and take a hike or be in nature. So that's why these spaces are so important, and that's why this solidarity and building, kind of a movement together so that more people feel comfortable being outdoors is so important.
Absolutely. And I was born in Mexico City, and for us, the situation would be we didn't have mountains very nearby. They're Popocatépetl and a lot of green spaces, but they were not safe either. Kidnappings, asaltos, just
Mhm.
all sorts of dangers. And then you get to the United States, and we see that there are a lot of Black and indigenous communities that are not safe in their own backyards. Uh, or let's talk about environmental injustices and pollution, where we say go outside, but then it's the air you breathe is not safe to be outside in because of the pollutants and the irritants. So it's a whole spectrum of what does it mean to go outside, and then how can we work together to make it safer, to make it welcome, to make it exciting for people to go outside. And that's why it's so exciting that we're reaching across,
Mhm.
that we're collaborating, and we're building a stronger network every single day, so that we can hit these little things. One part is advocacy, one part is training, one part is storytelling, one part is doing, one part is funding. So it's a beautiful network that we're building, and things aren't perfect, but they are getting better. And I want to be optimistic, and I am a hopeful person that all this work is for something, and it's for the next generation.
Very cool. And I see some people in the comments saying that they're taking their Latino outdoor shirt to a trip to Mexico. That's very cool. So, okay, we're on Earth Day, and on a very particular Earth Day because it seems like the pandemic was a thing of the past. And it seems, like the pandemic and COVID-19 is a thing of the past. And I just remember this campaign being safe outdoors, during the pandemic, to make sure that when people were out there, they were practicing, social distancing and making sure that things are safe. Something I saw in the pandemic that was somewhat sad is that in a lot of places where you go in nature and go hiking, because the pandemic took resources, right? People, like, you wouldn't see the same people caring for trails and things like that out there because obviously we were quarantining, we were not supposed to be out there. So I feel like we need to bring back a greater consciousness about how to keep the trails maintained and how to keep them clean. It breaks my heart so much. I always have an extra bag because when I go on the trail, I'm always picking up trash, plastic that is so toxic for like creeks and now we have so much abundance of water in little like waterfalls and things like that are super cute around LA. And it breaks my heart to see, kind of like how some people are so careless and don't have consideration or respect for for these spaces that are so necessary for all of us. So what are some of the strategies, some of the things that you guys talk about and you teach to your members at Latino Outdoors regarding being conscious and caring for trails and for the outdoors?
So great question, and it's Earth Day week month.
It's
So
Earth Month, every
so
day Earth Day.
it's important to talk about this beyond this week. But I think since we're talking about in California in particular, we've got these super blooms as a result of all these rains.
Oh boy. Yes.
Right. And a lot of people are quick to say like, oh, you're ruining the environment, or this isn't, you're trampling it. And I want to believe that this is a great opportunity, not to tell people don't go, don't see, go see, but start with baby steps. And something with Latino Outdoors is that we're a lifetime journey of learning. So you can be in your 50s, you can be in your 20s, you can be 4 years old, you can be 10 years old, and we want to be there and encourage you along your way to continue growing. So we don't want to say you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to leave no trace, you have to recreate responsibly. More than that, I like to think of those accidental environmentalists, the ones where you go to see and you say, wow, what a beautiful place. Maybe you connect through an Instagram picture and you say, wow, this is beautiful, I want to go there. And then you go there and then you see it with your own eyes and you experience those senses. And then you say, well, how do I take care of this? Well, the first step is, es tu parque, cuídalo, as my mom always tells me. It's your park, take care of it. And that is as simple. It doesn't have to be a set of rules. It is as simple as, that orange peel, well, don't throw it on the ground.
Yeah.
Put it in your pocket, put it in your backpack, and then save it until you get off the trail. Or if you see somebody else's trash and you have a glove or you have something, don't wait for somebody to pick it up. Pick it up if you want to. But the important part is that we're not strict and we don't judge you. You do this because you care. And then that becomes part of the culture. And if we teach our children that, then they remind the parents, they say, you left that on the ground. You forgot to pick it up. And then it becomes part of who we are, part of our families, part of our friend group, part of us as a large group. So when we take out 50 people on the trail and you have 50 bags and then you have 50 willing participants, you can make a big difference. So
huge, tremendous. Yeah.
It's about small steps. It's about starting off slow, and it's about making that connection so that you don't just read, pick up. It's going out there, experiencing it, and then feeling like I should pick up. This is something I want to protect. This is something worth saving and something worth protecting.
Absolutely. And we need to, I want to invite everyone to really adopt a different type of posture when you're in nature. A lot of times you're like, well, I didn't throw that there, or, that wasn't mine. I didn't do that. It's everyone's responsibility to care for our planet. And if anything, we can practice this Earth Month. If you don't want to practice that ever because, you feel like you don't need to do this for anyone else, I encourage you to maybe just try it for Earth Day, or for Earth Month. Just try it and just go out. When you go out there, make sure that if you see something that is not yours and it's not part of nature, that you can take it. And that's how we're going to make our world better. The reality is that we need to also practice radical self-reliance. We need to practice also bringing our stuff and packing it out. What is it? Leave no trace, leave it better than you found it, or sort
Exactly.
of. So I think it's important for us to have a greater consciousness that, yes, sometimes we're going to have to pick the slack of others. And that's okay, because also that's our role, in this work. Okay, so how are you guys at Latino Outdoors celebrating Earth Month or Earth Day? And of course, you're celebrating a 10th year anniversary. That's exciting. I can't even believe that it's been 10 years. How are you guys celebrating?
Well, there are so many celebrations right now. I want to definitely shout out that Black Environmentalist Week is happening right now, which leads everybody into Earth Day. I think the last day of Black Environmentalist Week is Earth Day. And then the Monday after Earth Day, we've got Semillitas Outdoors, which is Latino Outdoors' youth and family-oriented campaign. It's our second year of that. But what we're doing is we're encouraging, again, from the youth on up. And so part of part of Semillitas Outdoors dovetails with Earth Day and Earth Week. And so that way that we're just, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of community. It's a celebration of the environment. It's a celebration of being able to make a difference. It's a celebration of family. And so we're having, webinars. We're having virtual events. We're going to be doing special social media posts that give you tips. I encourage you all to find your regional Latino Outdoors team, because they have events also. And if you go to latinooutdoors.org, I have to say it, latinooutdoors.org, you'll be able to find a region near you. And then if you scroll through, you'll be able to find, well, what's going on Earth Day? Is it an art event? Is it a walk? Is it bird watching? Is it something for the family and for the kids? Is it indoor climbing? How are we celebrating, and how are you celebrating in your own region? So when you say, how is Latino Outdoors celebrating Earth Day? Every way, in every possible way.
I love that. And I just want to read a few comments. And if you're just joining us, thank you and welcome to Earth Month. We're celebrating the whole month because it's not enough I think Earth Day should be every day. And today I invited my friends from Latino Outdoors to speak to us about what it means to them, this, Earth Month and celebration and how they celebrate it. But I just want to read a couple of the comments that I've seen from folks. So I see Cinco de Mayo Colombiaca say, it feels great to leave a place better than you found it. It's a way to say thank you and show gratitude. And I totally resonate with that. So thank you so much for that comment. And also on Facebook, I see Kurt said, in my neighborhood, walking my dog, I pick up more trash in my neighborhood than when I go out to the national parks. So I think that this is also pretty telling in urban areas on how we also need to be conscious about our public parks and public space. That is so necessary right now because, again, there's a lot of people that don't drive, that can't drive, that don't maybe have a car, and that is really hard for them to access wilderness or like an outdoor area. When I lived in New York, it was like really hard to go hiking. Like that was like a luxury, when you went out to the outdoors. In LA and in California, it's a little bit different. So we also depend on in a lot of ways to these urban places where we can recreate and we can, kind of feel a little bit of a sense of nature. So what are some of the policies that you guys are working? What's trending? What's happening nationally in terms of open space, parks, trails, lands? Educate us a little bit about what's going on and what should we keep an eye out and support with, like, our advocacy.
So there are many things that we're working on, but two things that I'd love to speak more about. One is we're working on a couple of different national monuments campaigns, and this is exciting, because we're expanding and we're protecting a lot of these lands we're working to, and but more importantly, we're also bringing in and we're highlighting and we're centering and focusing indigenous voices, tribal representation and leadership. Not tribal input is always important, and this is how it should be, how it should have always been. And unfortunately, we've got a nasty, ugly history in this country and across the world of ignoring indigenous voices and tribal voices. However, we are working with others to right these wrongs slowly but surely. We're working with others to put their voices and their needs front and center. And so that when we go and we talk about public lands and public policy and national monuments, the most important voices are those of the indigenous groups and of the local communities, which are often the same. So these national monuments conversations, it is public lands, it is policy, but it's so much more than that, because we're trying to do this the right way. We're trying to, take the conservation movement of the 20th century and of the early 21st century, and we are trying to do it more authentically, more meaningfully, with more heart and intention, and we're listening better. And then the other large thing that we're focusing on is greening schoolyards, which you might know a thing or two about.
Yes, I'm so glad you're mentioning this. Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and
Well, you
explain?
all saw my excitement.
Yeah.
So, and actually, this in my world, this was born also in the pandemic because a lot of folks, especially in my area, we started seeing that we desperately needed a place to go to recreate and to kind of get out of the house and to take care of our mental health, but we didn't have a park. And in a lot of dense places in Los Angeles, we don't have parks. So if you are one of those people, please let me know in the comments if you like live in an area where you don't have a park where you can walk to. So the neighbors and I started talking about it, and we said, well, building a park is really expensive, and also we don't have a lot of land, and people are competing between, building a park or having more housing, right? So then we came up with this idea of like, well, in every neighborhood there is a school, and they already have an infrastructure like a play yard, right? Like where the kids play. And unfortunately, some of these schools have like not very great playgrounds. They don't have grass. Maybe they don't have like apparatus where the kids play that are nice. Maybe they don't even have a basketball court, a soccer court, which is something that it seems very popular. And it's not like a welcoming place where you want to kind of like sit and chill, like and like bring a friend and maybe have a coffee and just like be outside. So we started really working on that campaign, and now we work with LAUSD and with the Department of Parks and Recs here in LA, and we were instrumental to Ready to Help, the mutual aid that I founded, instrumental to open 20 schools as community school parks. And then as part of that work, it's like asking, also the schools to green up their playgrounds and their backyards and make, and do like community gardens and having trees and teaching young people about the importance of open space and green space and parks, and also how to grow their own food and how to organize. A big piece for us, the 20 schools wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the work of the Alta Loma youth. Like these are elementary schools that learn how to write talking points, that learn how to tell the story, and called, LAUSD, they called the Department of Recs and Parks to like ask for more parks and more community school parks. So I couldn't be more excited about this work and spearheading this work. And I would love to hear your guys' involvement because I didn't even know that you guys were involved. So that's awesome.
We are at a learning. We're just dipping our toes into this wider, wonderful world. Through our work with the Parks Now Coalition, we are starting to take some steps to help people out. But while we're talking about that, a few things like I wanted to point out. Did you know, audience, and people tuning in, that 100 million people in the United States, including 28 million kids, don't have a park within a 10-minute walk of their home. And something like greening of these schoolyards, it's being creative, and that's something that I believe in deeply. That to save our planet, to protect our planet, to fight back against climate change, to take climate action, it takes a corazón and creativity. And that is what I feel like the greening schoolyards really kind of digs into. It says, well, this exists and this need exists. Why don't we work and combine these and make it easier for families to enjoy the benefits, the mental health and the physical health benefits of nature? So while we are just starting out on this journey for this greening schoolyards, we'll be talking about it a lot more during Semillitas Outdoors, in the next week or so. And then we'll be diving in further. So we'll be having webinars, we'll be having discussions, and I would love, Aura, if you would join us on one of those.
I would love that. And I would love at some point to bring the kids of Alta Loma who did basically the legwork. They learn how to organize, they learn how to call their city council members. I mean, again, these are kids from the community that they were the first ones to say, we don't have a place to go in the pandemic. Like, what are we going to do? Because remember, like a lot of the schools closed too. So it was a really interesting time where something so negative and so sad turned into something so beautiful and so like tangible and possible, you know. And as we support our schools to be better and to be more green and to help us fight climate change, we also can educate youth about how they can also be part of this advocacy. This is like literally we were like building little advocates, you know, to this movement. So absolutely, I would love to get more involved, and I hope that everyone here gets more involved too in this type of work. We cannot do it alone, and like these little things, you might think that I have like a team of like 100 people. You know, sometimes it's 4 of us. We get together on a call and I'm like, okay, you call this person, I call that person. Okay, I'm gonna make that flyer on Canva. Okay, I'm gonna go call my other friends, and that's the beauty of organizing. And I want to encourage everyone to really start talking to their neighbors about these issues that they care about, especially when it comes to you talk about national monuments. And maybe if people here in the live stream don't know what that is, it's like when we all advocate for an area to become a national park. And what that means is to like bring resources to that area so that we can have trash cans, so that they can build a parking lot, so that, you know, so that they can have other things in place, so that we can continue storing and caring, you know, for the land. So it's like so important. I couldn't address enough how important it is for all of you to start talking with each other and supporting other people that are doing work, and joining places like Latino Outdoors and participating in these issues, because like we can do so much more if we all work, you know, together towards, you know, these goals.
Absolutely, and one of the things that you'll hear us say a lot is advocacy starts with you, because it really does. And again, I can't emphasize that that personal connection, whether that connection is in a magazine that you see, or on an Instagram or social media post, or visiting there personally, or listening to a family member's stories, creating that connection, that is the first step into experiencing it and then learning to care. And then that is the first step, whatever age you are at, that is the first step in your lifelong journey as an advocate. And you will change the world, and there are people who will help you, and we will be there to guide you. And we may not always have all the answers, but we will find them together. So I want everybody to be hopeful. Find that inner fire and that inner passion with you. Find that Earth Day, you know, resolution. We always talk about New Year's resolutions. Let's find those Earth Day resolutions where we say, well, on this day, I'm going to pick up at least one piece of trash that I see. On this day, I'm going to subscribe to one newsletter to an organization that cares about plants and greening our neighborhoods. On this day, I'm going to sign a petition, and set those goals for yourself and help us make a difference together.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the other piece to this, and I think in previous years you guys have done a really beautiful job connecting people with like the type of civic engagement that is necessary also to care and to protect the outdoors and to protect nature and to protect like open space and green space. And it's I couldn't address enough, you guys. You guys all need to vote. Just you need to vote, and you need to vote at all times and in all places. I know that sometimes, you know, we have this sense of like, oh, you know, my local politics, I don't care. I just only vote for president. You know, I only vote for the president and the presidential elections. And we, as if you're a Latino, if whatever you are from, you know, we need to get out of that mentality. There's too much at stake for us not to get involved. And I think if anything you want to take away from this conversation is that you must get involved. If you cared about being on the trails, if you love to go into the waterfalls, you need to get involved, because we need your energy, we need your voice to help us continue fighting for these things that are so important.
Absolutely. And remember, one of our main programs, one of the things that you will always see us write is yo cuento. And I count, your voice counts, your vote counts. We're not going to tell you how to vote, That is between you and the polling place and your own vote. However, your voice does matter and your vote does matter. And when you consider there are, I think it was 18 million Latine, Latinx, Latina, Latino voters that came of age, that turned 18 in the last few years since 2020. That's a lot of power.
Huge.
That is huge. We can sway things. We can change the world. We can do, put in leaders and policies and values and cultural shifts as we see, and we can come together and we can lift up our communities. And that happens your voice, your voice, your vote, your vote, your vote, all together. We can make amazing things happen. So it might be 2023 right now, but 2024 is right around the corner. So don't sleep on it. And Aura, you and I both know this personally, but if you've ever wanted to run for office, start running. Get started. Reach
Do
out.
it. Don't
We
hold
need
back
you.
and do it. I know it sounds intimidating, and it is actually very intimidating as someone that ran for office and as someone that is running for office right now. I'm back running for city council. It's exhausting, but like Christian said, we need more voices like ours. We need more voices that deeply care for our environment. We need more voices that are willing to put up the fight, because that's, I think, like, more than ever right now, we need elected officials and we need representatives that have courage. And they're not going to show up with courage unless we have the courage to support them. So that's like super important, because I remember in my first run in 2020 when I ran for city council, and people like, oh my God, you're running, and like, we love you. And I'm like, yeah, but we need to get loud, and we need to get like really involved in share stories and tell other people about, conversations like this one, and tell also your own personal story about you care, but why you care about, Earth Month, or why you care about the environment. It's a little, it's tiring to me as someone that is an advocate of environmental justice issues, to hear environmental issues talked about as something that is kind of trending and is cool, and everybody's for the planet and everybody's for the environment. But how are we really being for the environment and for the planet right now? Like, seriously, put your hand and your heart and wonder, because I think that there is a lot of chatter about, groups, and we all care, but I see a lot of people still using plastic. I see a lot of people reluctant with getting involved and voting. And we definitely that needs to change, like, so much. That needs to change, because if we are serious about making this, our planet and the environment center to everything that we do, we first need to change, and we need to have like an internal revolution so that everything around us also change. So that's my little rant for all of you guys right now.
Absolutely.
On Earth
And
Month.
and in the same way we talk about, or I talked about the accidental environmentalist, there's also the accidental advocate. And
Yeah.
where something clicks, where you're like, I didn't know that this connected to this. I didn't know hiking on this trail was related to funding. But now I know, and now I care, and now I'm going to vote, or now I'm going to run for office to make a difference. So never count yourself out. Never count out your level of involvement. You can be an absolute novice, or you can be an expert. But there are a lot of groups out here. There are a lot of individuals and advocates like Aura and organizations like Latino Outdoors and so many others out there that are ready to help you and support you. If nothing else, cheer you on and let you know you're not here alone. This is part of a larger movement. This is part of a worldwide effort, and not just Latinos and Latinas and Latine and Latinx people, but this is across every diaspora. We are all in this together, and we are making a difference. And it may not seem like much, but it is. And your voice and every effort that you're making matters. So keep on
100%. It's
keep
so
doing.
huge. And I see, people on Facebook commenting, that our state and local governments make so many decisions and on nature and food. So all this ecosystem is kind of correlated, right? Like it's all together. The fact that we had a very wet year in the West Coast, especially in California, and now everybody is like, oh, we're out of the drought. No, friends, we're not out of the drought. We're not out of the drought. Don't get so excited so quickly. We still have a lot of reservoirs that are not at capacity. We still have lakes. We still have, and also we got to find, this is climate change, right? We got to find a way when we have enough rain in one year and at a certain time, and that keeps continuing happening. That is not just like we have 5 years of like not a drop of water, and then suddenly we have one year that is like mudslides and we don't know what to do with the water, and it's unbearable. So all of these things add up, and sometimes you say, it's only one plastic bag that I have in my hand. Oh, it's only, I'm only letting the water run. It's just now. But imagine that I don't even know how many people are living in this world right now, how many billion of people.
8 billion, I think.
There you go. So imagine if all of them just do it one time. Like, I mean, it is the magnitude is something that we really need to, think about. Okay, so let me get some comments in. So great conversation. We have a key opportunity to mobilize this powerful electorate to vote for climate change action during elections and beyond. Let's go, Ecomadres. I totally agree with this. Let me see if I have any questions from folks. If folks have any questions, please send them in the comments and I can read them out. Most water went to the ocean and with trash. I know that was like super sad. And I think as we figured out how to restore storm water, we're gonna have to deal with a little bit of that right now. I did put my 3 buckets outside, but I was at capacity. I didn't have enough buckets to fill up all the water that we got for like a few weeks here in LA. So absolutely, like at capacity, guys. All right. So I don't know if is there anything else, Christian, that we wanna talk about? Is there like a celebration for the 10th year anniversary for Latino Outdoors?
There are many celebrations. They are year long. We have the official theme is Crecemos Outdoors 10 años. We grow outdoors 10 years, and what we're doing is we are releasing over the course of 10 different months special commissioned art by Latina artists, and it's fantastic. You'll see us sharing it on our social media and on our blog, on video, and it's other than it just being beautiful and it being a real true expression of who these artists are, what their connections are to nature, what their vision is of community and culture. It's also an opportunity to celebrate and highlight and amplify other Latina artists and creativity. We want to lift each other up. So it's a great opportunity. When you see some of this art, share it. And what I've been telling Latino Outdoors volunteers and leaders is get on your WhatsApp group and just share it with Abuelita.
I love that.
It doesn't have to be the most special thing. It's just a little, hey, I thought you might appreciate this today.
Absolutely. Well, keep us posted. I think what I have been doing in this Earth Month is I do a lot of outdoor activities alone because I really enjoy just being in nature by myself, and my phone doesn't ring, so it just allows me to like think about stuff. But I actually changed a little bit that dynamic, and I've been taking friends because it's been so important now. There's so many people that need that extra push to get out there. Like it's funny. I have some friends, and I'm sure if you identify with what I'm about to say, just please put some laughing comment, like put a laughing emoji in the comments. Because I have a lot of friends that when I ask them to go outdoors with me, the first thing that they say is like, is there snakes? Is there birds? Or like, is there like animals? Am I gonna get like it's like, is there something gonna happen to me? I'm like, let me tell you, I think like we're the biggest animal out there and they're scared of us.
That's exactly right. Safety in numbers, and it's good. Like sometimes sometimes I am the person who needs the group of friends who say, come on, come join us. That was what Latino Outdoors was to me. I did not always enjoy group hikes. And then I joined one of their hikes and I was like, ugh, I love this. This is fun. I like meeting new people. It's nice to talk to people. And you feel safe also in numbers. So when you go outside and you might be afraid of animals, think that if there's 3 or 4 of you, if there's 2 of you, the animals will hear you. You know, you'll be more safe in a group. So,
I
and
agree.
it's good
I
for our
definitely
health.
got to join some of those group outings. Those are fun.
You have to.
Absolutely. I think the Sierra Club has one that is like the singles outing. So if you want to, if you're looking for like a partner in the outdoors, that might be the group for you. I think that all of the excuses to get out there they're valid. I'm like, go for the singles, go for the not singles, do the whole thing. Just, just get out there.
Just get out.
Christian, thank you so much for joining me today. I know that you were running around and I so appreciate your time. I want you to know. Big fan.
I appreciate you, Auda. Keep up the great work with everything. You're a change maker. You're a leader. You're a true advocate for your community and for the environment. And just really appreciate you and everything that you do out there and bringing people together. So thank you for letting us celebrate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, friends, this is it. Happy Earth Month. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening. Don't forget to check out Latino Outdoors. I'm gonna share these videos so you guys can see them. Do us a favor and help us celebrate Earth Day by sharing this video also with more people, so more people can get acquainted with Latino Outdoors and with all of the work that is happening. And of course, you can where to find me, and the conversation is always continues online. So thank you so much, everyone, and I hope everybody has a pleasant evening. Bye.
Bye.